Hello, fellow paint wranglers. Gina DeLuca here. Okay, so if you've seen the last few videos with me getting cells with no silicone, I believe that this Liquitex Basics cadmium yellow light in particular, as opposed to the medium or deep hues, is very, very cell reactive. And when I'm getting those big juicy cells, what I'm noticing, I'll have magenta is also cell reactive, but not to the same extent as the cadmium light. So I would do a magenta and then the cadmium light and then a mix of the magenta and the cadmium light to make an orangish color. And what's happening is the magenta is more on the outside of the cell. The orange is more in the center, or like the next layer in, and then the yellow is dead center, which kind of gives it this bubble effect, a very 3D look. And what I've noticed is that when the cells pop up, they are more matte in appearance when dried than the background. So what I have done is changed up my color palette. Previously I was using dioxazine purple, which is an opaque, and an opaque that doesn't use white. And today I will be using phthalo blue, which is opaque and doesn't appear to have white in it. This lighter blue is actually a mix of ultramarine blue and a touch of the cadmium yellow light hue. This lighter green is mostly cadmium yellow light hue with a touch of ultramarine. And then I have the straight cadmium yellow. They've all been mixed with 2 parts Floetrol, and then I've added my water plus Floetrol mix. It is 10% Floetrol, 90% water. I add that to a very thin consistency. Very thin, like, is that too thin? Thin. Today I've made them a hair, and I mean a hair, baby hair, thicker than what I have been, just to see if it would still react if I've gone just a little bit thicker. But I know it does need to be thin because I've gone thicker than this and it did not work. So I have my base coat, which is Artist Loft White mixed with Floetrol and water to get also a very thin consistency. You do not want it to be much thicker. If you don't want it to be thicker than the paint that you are pouring, because it will fight back against that paint and squish your cells up, and that is an undesired effect. So this got a little thick on me, so I just add a bit more of my water Floetrol mix. That looks better. Okay, so this is an 18 by 24 canvas, which would need about 15 ounces to cover the whole canvas. I'm not necessarily looking to cover the whole canvas. I really want to stretch that paint. So a lot of times all of the cells happen around the outer edge, and then you'll get a slightly solid color in the center. So if I put too much paint, I won't be able to get it to stretch as much. So I'm going to go with less paint than is required and see if I can get that ring again. When I got the ring, that was a 24 by 30 canvas. So that was a big a big canvas. All right, so let's start with our opaque. And I am suspecting / hoping that that winds up being the background. And this will wind up being the outer edge of the cell. Which will hopefully blend with this. Can you believe I'm using green on purpose? And there, the yellow that is in that green, of course, is heavy, so that sinks. So I'm going to do about 12 ounces of paint. As you can see, my yellow is sitting on top. Not desired effect. That may be because the paint is thicker than what I usually do it. So let's see what happens. The signs do not point to my gorgeous cells, but we'll see. Worst case scenario, I'll get that gradient pour that I was originally going for. And I will just paint over top of it. Some kind of musician. Okay. I'm going to lay down my base coat to give my paint something to slide around on. Okay, my base coat is down. Time to get to boring. Kind of bummed my yellow didn't sink. I was hoping for a tree-like effect. This is coming out the opposite of how I like it to. Not gonna love that, I'm sure. All right. Give it a little bit of torch. Not to pop any bubbles. All right. You want to recenter your paint before you change direction. Well, as with most greens, I don't love the shade of green. Some people make some beautiful paintings with green. I don't seem to be one of those people. That will not stop me from trying to get my one beautiful green piece. Looks like algae on a pond. Well, I knew it wasn't going to come out exactly the way I wanted when all of my yellow wound up on the edge. If this shade of yellow that's popping up here were in the center of these cells, as I would have liked them to have been, it would have a more 3D looking effect. But I have some paint left over, so I will give it another shot and see if I can get it to work. Don't think, we'll see. So there it is. You can mix the cadmium yellow light hue with another color and get that to sew up. I will wash my hands and take you in for a close-up. Okay, there it is. I'm sure it'll grow on me. But, yep, there's another experiment. I will try it again. I'll mix it a hair thinner and see if that helps with the dispersion of the yellow. That is it for me for right now. My name is Gina DeLuca. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And go make some art.